match. So she first.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest episode of Facts Not Included. Today is Monday, and what does that mean? It means it is, of course, the review time, and I promised you guys we were going to be reviewing SHAZAM. So I have my buddy here, Mr. Antonio Connolly. What's going on, bro?
Nothing. Just chilling.
Nothing? Really?
Well, I mean, I'm trying to multitask right now. I'm trying to do this review thing with you and watching some wrestling.
Some wrestling. So ignoring your priorities as a host of a podcast.
No, I'm not. No, I'm not. I'm doing both. I'm very attentive to what we're going to be doing here. I'm not. It's a women's match right now that.
So now you're not going to pay attention?
No, it's not that. It's just like it's a women's match that I have no idea what they're doing here. It's just like both of the one person wasn't wrestling because it was WrestleMania last night. So this one particular person lost and this other person never wrestled. So that last night. So it's just like it's irrelevant. This match is totally irrelevant. So.
What's kind of fascinating? It's like a couple years ago, women's matches were the time to just go to the bathroom and not, all right, I'm going to just walk out of here and just take a pee break or get a sandwich or take a walk or something. And then you come back when they're, or you change the channel when they're on. But now, now it's gone back to the early days of the 2000s where they're worth watching. Because they're actually talented, they're not just commercial breaks. But anyway, today is our SHAZAM review.
SHAZAM!
I hope everyone has seen the film that's listening to this. Please don't listen to everything. Please don't listen to this if you haven't seen it. But thanks for clicking. Thanks for clicking on the episode. That was really nice of you. So you, me, and Mike have seen this. That wasn't grammatically correct. Sorry. Mike, you, and I have seen this movie. And I don't know why I'm blanking. Oh, so I kind of forgot where we started the movie. Because what an evening that was for me. Where did we see it? Alamo. There we go.
Alamo.
Wow.
Alamo.
The Alamo. As Mike says, remember the Alamo? May they all rest in peace.
Oh. It's like years ago. I'm pretty sure most.
Was it my idea for us to go there, or was it Mike's?
I think probably Mike. Mike's the more of the history buff than you are.
No, I meant the Alamo. What does that have? No.
So,
what does that have to do with history?
Oh, you meant the actual movie theater.
No, Mike's not planning a trip to the Alamo.
Oh.
Wow. See, folks, this is what happens when you're watching Raw.
I'm not watching Raw. Well, I am, but I'm not watching Raw right now. God. I should, though. This is actually a pretty good match, but,
So, no, Mike is not planning a trip for us to go to the Alamo.
How dope would that have been?
That would be pretty nice. Actually, for those who are listening, and for those that are interested in this, we are going to be in a Comic-Con. Well, full disclosure, we're not going to have a booth. We're just going to be attending a Comic-Con. If we knew about this Comic-Con before, I guarantee it would have paid for a booth and everything. But did not know until like 2 weeks ago about it. But we're going to be at the Hudson Valley Comic-Con in May 11th and 12th in Poughkeepsie, New York. So if you're in the area, you could say hello to us. You might see us by if you know what we look like, that's great, or creepy, I guess. I don't know, but if you know what we look like, you could say hello to us, and we'll likely be doing a review of the con and all that. And we're gonna check out some stuff. I'm pretty excited. You're excited to go see that?
Yeah, I mean, I've only been to like one other smaller convention type of event,
FlameCon, right?
No, I mean, no disrespect to anyone who goes there. Much love to you guys, but no, I've not been there personally.
Wait, where have you
But
gone? Like that one of those anime ones?
yeah. I went to Anime NYC this past year.
Anime.
Yeah, and it was pretty cool. It's like one of those. It's trying to be like an anime expo here out in the East. So it's got some growing to do, but I could see it happening.
Yeah,
You
Hudson
know.
Valley is only in its fourth year, so we shall see how
Mhm.
it's going to be. I heard people had a lot of fun last year, but we shall be the judge. But anyway,
Yeah.
as I keep saying, we went to go see Shazam. We saw it at the Alamo.
Shazam!
I think every time I mention that name, you're going to do that, aren't you?
Yes, I am. That's the new gimmick right now.
Ouch.
Shazam!
All right. So wait, I didn't say it that time. We went there. Alamo's a great place as always. If you don't have one in your neighborhood, sucks to be you.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah, well, it's true. So, going into this film, going in, I had no. I think I said in the last episode on Tangent Friday, I didn't care that this movie was going to exist because I didn't know about the character, and I don't know the history, and I don't. The way DC was moving along when they announced the movie was coming out, like 35 years ago. That's basically how DC does their stuff. I was like, okay, cool, whoop-de-doo for you guys. Congrats, I guess. And then, so they announced Zachary Levi, and then it was kind of like a clear indication of the tone, because like he's a guy that like, oh, he's kind of funny and he's charming.
Yeah.
So I was like, okay, maybe they're gonna go for a lighter tone here, and then I keep forgetting the guy that's now in charge of DC movies and stuff. The Japanese gentleman. What? And
just the way you said that, it's just like, the Japanese man,
I didn't
gentleman.
say. Because I don't want to just say a random Japanese name.
No, fair enough. Fair enough. You
Hamada?
shouldn't do that.
Hamada. That's his name.
Okay.
I don't know his first name, but somewhere in his name is Hamada. So he's now in charge. And so this is the first of the Hamada movies, essentially.
Right.
And so it's clearly a different tone than any of the other movies, even more so than Aquaman. And I hated Aquaman, but it's even more lighter than Aquaman, and you have a good time. At least I did with Shazam than you did with Aquaman,
Right.
So
I mean, yeah, fair enough. I personally thought Aquaman was a decent movie, but
sure, yeah.
I do think
And so did most people.
I mean, because you have to compare it, right? Like, what do you have to compare Aquaman to?
Probably like nothing.
Wonder Woman,
You're
Batman
right.
versus Superman, Man of Steel, right? Like Justice League, right? You have those to compare it to. You can't really compare it to any Marvel film,
Yeah,
because Marvel hasn't made a Prince Namor yet, which,
they can't.
yeah, yet, but so it was good. It was all right.
It was Aquaman to me. I think they dropped the ball on it. I think they didn't make a film that made, at least for me, I don't know how to say it, but I wasn't hooked.
It didn't wow you.
It didn't hook
Yeah,
me.
It didn't wow you, yeah.
But Shazam, it gets you in a way that surprises you, because you're like, especially if you don't know who the characters. At least I didn't as much. I don't as much. And you don't know what to expect. You're like, okay, you could assume certain things, but you don't know how funny or lighthearted it's going to be, and that's pretty cool. I'm not saying it, and again, this has to do with DC as a whole. I don't think you have to go lighthearted. I don't think you have to go super doopy, like super happy and all that. But they weren't doing a good job when it was dark, so might as well flip the script and go happy and lighthearted.
Right. Yeah. Well, it also depends on the character, right? Like,
right.
You need a character that is lighthearted and goofy a little bit. And I mean that's Shazam in a nutshell. If you know the original Captain Marvel comic books from him, and if you've seen any animated DC show, right? Like if you've seen the original Justice League, if you've seen Young Justice as of lately, any of the other stuff, you could tell, like, his character is that, because
He's a fucking
he's in
kid.
reality, yeah, he's a 14-year-old kid,
Yeah.
So
And also, like, isn't this a character that has like a talking tiger thing at some point?
yeah,
Like, there's some
I
sort
think
of,
so.
and then there's that worm thing. Spoiler alert at the end credits. So
Yeah,
it's a wacky type of comic. It's
yeah,
not meant to be taken with like a tooth and nail. Like, oh, we got to examine this. It's
yeah, yeah, yeah.
it's a joke,
Yeah, he's
essentially.
he's
But
essentially like a magical Superman, like
yeah,
whatever you think like magical Superman means, that's what it is.
yeah,
So that's what's really cool about it, is that DC actually took a character that half of people know and half of them don't, and took it and created a story where it is enjoyable. Like you can sit through that movie and not feel you're bored, or like there isn't like, I feel like sometimes, like, I felt like our audience laughed a little too much at some of the jokes when they weren't supposed to be like, they're supposed to be like, ha, but they were like, ha 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 ha, it was kind of
that might have been
weird.
me more than anybody. I was laughing at a lot of stupid shit.
Right.
Um,
But yeah, you were, but like there were some moments where people were just like bawling out, and it's not supposed
right.
to be like 100% comedy.
Correct.
But it's just like, okay, that it's funny, yeah, but it's
It,
not that, it's like,
yeah,
in my
no,
opinion, I
you're
don't know.
right. You're right. To an extent, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
But you know what? I just take a step back and think about this. And say what you want to say about both movies, but we live in a time. Think about it, it's fucking like. Sorry for cursing, but like it's fascinating that we live in a world where two Captain Marvel movies are out at the same time. Like think
Yeah.
about that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
think about that. Like who in the 70s, in the 80s or whenever was like, "Oh, I can't wait till that year 2019 when that's going to happen." Like no one could have said that was going to happen. And at most you would go, one would come out one year and the other would come out another. No, they both came out within a month apart from each other.
That's true.
And that's so fast. I think that's lovely. I think that's kind of really cool. The same thing goes for like when, like, who thought a Doctor Strange movie or an Ant-Man movie would ever come out? Like, that's crazy, crazy stuff right there. And I think that's
Absolutely.
something that, regardless of what you think of Marvel's Captain Marvel and DC's Shazam, of what you think of either of those movies, just take that step back and go, wow, the fact that we even got here is kind of amazing. It's kind of cool.
Yeah.
That being said, they're two totally different movies. That's why I'm not going to compare them. And I'm not going to talk about the other one here.
Right.
Because you can't. You really can't. Anyway, this movie. So you going into this movie, I know you know the character a lot more than I do.
Yeah.
And its background, its history. Were you expecting what? I don't want to even put words in your mouth. What were you expecting from this movie when you sat down?
All I wanted it to be because, like, again, Billy is that, like, he's a kid, so when he plays as Shazam, he's kind of like, he's a kid in an adult body type, like, that's the storyline. So I wanted it to be funny because that's what they were going with. Also, DC, like I said, like we said before, is trying to change narratives from being that, I'm Batman, dark and gritty, Zack Snyder film type of environment. So I just wanted it to be fun. I wanted it to be funny a little bit, and I wanted it to actually like make sense coherently. I wanted to sit down in that, what was it, 2 hours or hour and a half or something like that, and sit
Just
there and
over.
say, okay, as an origin movie, right? You tell me a decent plot from the beginning to end without it having me go, all right, you could just chop that out and not need it there, right? Like,
Right.
I wanted it to, because comparing it to something like an Endgame, right? Endgame is going to be 3 hours. You don't want to sit there and think for 3 hours, wow, like I'm sitting here for 3 hours.
Yeah, or
Right,
like, oh, they could have cut that out. Like, what the hell is that?
Yeah. It was like, this was not necessary at all. Like, in this. Also, there's some like story mode, like comic like plots that I wanted hammering out and seeing where they would go, And at towards the end, they really they went the route that I didn't see coming, but you know, it's cool that they did that.
I was
You
reading, talking about that end scenes. I guess you could talk. You know, the last battle. I was reading up on that. A lot of people were like, "Oh, damn! No, I didn't really think they would touch that."
Yeah, exactly. That's what I thought too. I was like, wow, okay.
See, I didn't know that existed until I saw the movie. I was like, "Oh, that's cool!" Like, we got this whole like family of Shazams. You know, I didn't expect to see that.
Yeah, in one of the for the non-comic book nerd people who listen to us and who don't know, Shazam has essentially two variations of the character that are in the mythos and like most people know. There's the normal one where it's just Billy Batson and the wizard giving him powers, who's an old wizard who's super powerful, and he just gives him the power because he's dying, you know. And then there's the other version where him and his siblings, his orphan siblings, come together and they all proceed to have the ability to get each one of the wizard's powers. And you know, I can't really list them because I don't know them off the top of my head, but each one, the wizard's name is Shazam, essentially. And each one of the letters in the name grants him a certain power. Like H is for the strength of Hercules or some shit like that, the wisdom of Solomon, and Sturless shit like that. So each one of them have the ability, and they kind of come together like Captain Planet and fuse to make one person.
And so he names all the gods when he at some point when he gave Billy the original powers. I think sorry to cut you off, but like the fact that you're saying there's two different storylines and they melded it really well in this movie, making you believe that it's one big old story. But you say in the comics it's two separate variations.
Yeah. I mean, probably because, again, DC's comic books have been through, as of recently, have been through two big revamps.
Yeah.
They've come, the most recent one is Rebirth.
Yep.
And the one before that is the New 52, where they completely changed a bunch of the mythos.
Changed everybody's storylines.
Yeah, everyone's storylines is different. So,
Batman was raped by a horse? No, I'm just kidding.
Wait, what?
Just kidding.
Oh, jeez. What the hell?
No. Talking about horses. Sorry, but this is I found was hilarious. I probably shouldn't be talking about this because it doesn't need to be mentioned on this episode. But in Chinese, in Mandarin. I found this out today from Penn Jillette. He had a show on his podcast, and if you say the ma means tiger in Mandarin, and hu or hu, whatever, means horse. And so if you say the words mama hu, you're basically saying tiger, horse, right?
Right.
But it also means, in their language, it means you're feeling so, like you're feeling okay, right?
Right.
So I think that's genius. Don't you think that like tiger, horse means you're feeling okay, right?
Yeah.
But anyway, he was also describing a story how he was somewhere and he saw a picture of a tiger fucking a tiger, fucking a horse, fucking a horse. What? So it's four animals having sex.
Oh, it's just like a giant animal orgy.
Yeah, you can look it up on YouTube, on Google. I think you can find the picture.
Oh, jeez.
Anyway, sidetrack there, big time sidetrack. Mama hoo hoo. So if you ever wanted to know how you're feeling, just tell somebody that, and they're just gonna be like, "Wait, what?" Anyway, what were we talking about? We're talking about Shazam, the powers and stuff, and how it's changed in the New 52 and now Rebirth. Has Shazam had Rebirth comics?
I believe he has.
Yeah,
I believe so. I know he has a New 52 line.
Right, which is where that whole story came from. Those siblings. He does. I looked it up just... No, he doesn't. Okay. Hold on.
He might be just involved with the Justice League because he's a part of that.
Okay.
might have
So
roped them in there.
there was something about this movie, and I heard someone brought this up online, and I thought it was really interesting, and there's a whole thread on it. The idea that this was a negative for people, and I'm seeing a good, and one of my students actually told me like a good rebuttal to it, which is like probably why DC didn't give a crap about answering this. I'm gonna get to it. I'm gonna get to it right now. So Billy Batson in this movie is not shown as an idiot. He's very. I'm not saying he's like a genius kid, but he seems relatively intelligent enough to get around.
Right. They do the. He's intelligent, quote unquote, for his age, right?
Right, and he's a foster kid who's been through the ringer. He's been through the system.
Yeah.
He knows how to antagonize the right people to get his way. He's not stupid at all. He doesn't play the dumb character.
Right.
What people were talking about is that then why did when he became Shazam, was he just like a doofus? Like why was he just so dumb? And so that's for some people that's like a turnoff for this movie. It's kind of like, well, if he's the same guy, why isn't he just play just a smart or a semi-intelligent adult or whatever? But so I was kind of going, oh yeah, that's a good point. He did act very unintelligent as Shazam, but then as the boy he was quite clever. One of my students told me, well, think about it. If a child is put in an adult's body, think about this. You're gonna look stupid because you have the mind of a child, and you're supposed to act like an adult. What does that even mean? You know. Mm-hmm. And if an adult reverts back to a child, that child's gonna seem like a genius to other children. I was like, all right, I guess, but I don't know. So, what do you think? Did you feel that Shazam, the character, like the superhero, did you feel like he was a doofus? Like, did you feel like he was a little bit dumb? He was dumbed down from when he was Billy?
All right, I a little bit. I mean, you could argue that, right? This is like when they first show Billy Batson. We're just gonna go into some spoilers, but this is like the first few minutes of the movie, obviously. They show Billy like caging in cops, trying to find his mom. Like this whole story throughout the whole movie up until like that I'm gonna be a superhero moment is essentially the I'm trying to find my mom. I'm trying to find somebody that I've been looking for my whole entire life. A person who I don't think abandoned me, but in reality did. Right.
Yeah, we find that out later on.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of told that early on by the social services lady. She kind of like takes Billy in and she's like, look, these people actually want you, but you're searching for somebody who's never even tried to look for you.
It's like the Rey thing in Star Wars.
Yeah. I mean, sure. But
well, yeah. Hold on. When Maz says, I don't mean to go into Star Wars now, but when Maz says that Luke is the guy that you need to be looking towards now because the people that had you, they left you. They're not concerned about you anymore. To me, more or less the same thing, but nowhere near the same scope.
Right.
She's a Force user, and this kid's just a kid. But anyway,
right. Yeah. So I mean, he was he showed like not super intelligent, but he was a street kid. You know, he's street smarts.
Yeah, above average intelligence for a kid, probably a kid his age.
Right. Yeah, he knew how to hack the computers. He knew how to this, that, and the other thing. But Jesus Christ!
Wow, your dildo's going off again.
No, it's my phone texting people texting me. But like I was saying, but in the beginning of the movie, even though he's smart, they were like when they ask, dispatch, some kid stole our shit. He was like, with the walkie-talkie. Like, he didn't know what the actual name was of it. Right? Yeah. Like he didn't search that up, and then he bounced to find whoever he was. He also didn't try to scramble the locations, and he essentially got caught by the cops that he, caged up, right?
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
So, yeah, he's smart. He's crafty, But, again, it's like when you're 14 and you finally get the ability to look like an adult and be able to do what you want to do, um, guaranteed you're going to be stupid.
But also,
Like,
like, in defense of DC, like, he's not just an average adult. He's an adult with, like, wicked powers. So you're going to be, like, weirded out, be like, whoa, look what I could do. Like, so that's why I kind of don't, I mean, I get it, but I don't agree with, like, oh, he was stupid, but he wasn't stupid as a kid. And so, like, I kind of, like, let it go. I don't really look at it as an issue. So yeah, I mean, that's just me.
Well, see, so right, it's in tandem with that, because I can understand why they consider him stupid, right?
Yeah,
like posting videos on the internet about his powers, doing all that testing, getting angry at his brother for trying to monopolize him as like a hero and his popularity, right? Like, I can understand why people say he's dumb for that.
Do you think it was a weird choice to have him? Because the way the story was told was he gets the powers, and they're trying to figure out a name for him, and then he doesn't know what to do with the powers because he doesn't have a villain yet. So he just starts, like, doing stuff on the street corners. Did you find that weird? Because I thought that was a pretty clever way to, like, yeah, what would you do with powers when you first get them? Like, I think that was a pretty clever way, because, like,
I think, see, again, right? You and I didn't grow up in the 2010s, right?
Sure.
So, we grew up in the essentially late 90s, early 2000s, right? That time frame where the mentality is, you get shit like this, you keep it secret because there's no way for you to broadcast that information out to the world, right?
Okay, yeah.
Kids today, I have a lot of young cousins, I have a lot of younger people in my family who I've observed and talked to. Kids today, they have the Instagram, they have the YouTube, they have Facebook, they have all these Snapchat. Yeah. So, and we're engrossed in a culture today where showing off your social life and showing off, like, what you can do and how good you have it as of right now in the moment is so prevalent.
Yeah.
You have, like, all these celebrities that you could, off the top of my head, Kim Kardashians, the Cardi B's, the all these types of powerful women, and all these types of people that just showcase what they want on social.
Well, it's narcissism at a level that is so
I mean, on a philosophical level, yeah, it's a narcissistic thing that's in our society today. So it's understandable that a kid who, again, they based it on a real world place. It's Philadelphia. So you're assuming, okay, it takes place in 2019, right? Would go on the internet and go try to get beer, go try to test out his abilities, not knowing what the fuck to do. Go out and do magic tricks because he can, because, like, they live in a world where Superman is a thing, where the Flash, Batman, Cyborg, they have these super powered people that most people are, in general, look around and like, oh, it's just another magic guy, Although the one thing I don't understand about DC is there is no, like, there isn't a type of shield where they keep everything under wraps. It's kind of confusing to me that he was just out there with all these millions of views on YouTube and no one went into like police him.
Well, I mean, that could be because they're not sure in the real world, like our world. Warner Brothers is probably not sure exactly as to, okay, well, is this connected to that or that? So I think they're still trying to figure that out, and so I think that is, for me, fine. But yeah, for a moviegoer, yeah, you're so conditioned watching the MCU to go, oh, there's this governing force behind certain things. But I think Warner Brothers on a real world level is still not sure, so they don't deal with that.
No, understandable, right?
Yeah.
That's why it kind of took me out when they said, "Oh, this is Philadelphia," because for me, if they just gave us like Emerald City or any other like city,
made up shit,
yeah, like Gotham or Metropolis, made up. you for me, right? There's a level of being not like a detached
Yeah,
is the
you
word I'm looking
suspend the
for.
disbelief even more that okay,
Yeah.
anything can go down here because it's in Gotham or so and so.
Yeah, exactly. Because like, they're because it is like a Gotham. There is like a Joker there, the Penguin. These supervillains, or like I can't really name any street Superman villains. I guess the yeah,
I don't know.
for Flash, Captain Cold. All right,
Yeah.
there doesn't need to be like a shield presence, but they say something like a real world location. You kind of like, okay, we're, you implant the idea with Suicide Squad beforehand. But again, you're right. This is all new territory, right? Like this is, but like I feel like for an average moviegoer, they're gonna be like, well, how come these people and these people? Why is this movie not connected to these people? But
Yeah, it's strange because at the same time, because DC's always been known to use made up towns that were like equivalent to real world cities. Like Gotham's considered like Jersey.
no,
Um,
it's New York.
well, the Metropolis is probably more New York.
Metropolis is New York during the day. Gotham is New York during the night. Is the parallels
Right.
from what I understand. Again, I
Right.
don't know. I mean, I could be wrong because in Batman versus Superman, they were like, yeah, it's across the bay. So you could be right on that
Right.
aspect as of right.
I always saw Gotham as Jersey, because and then Metropolis as New York only because of, um, I don't know. I know a lot of people see New York as dirty and gritty, but like just across the river, you got pretty shitty Jersey City and Newark. So sorry, folks, but nasty
The meme or the joke is that Jersey is like a huge
cesspool.
garbage dump.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so I could I feel that, but I'm not gonna give Jersey the benefit of the doubt in calling it Gotham City. No, I'm not doing that. I'm not doing that.
But anyway, so I think DC, whatever they're calling themselves, DC Cinematic Universe, DC Universe, whatever it is, I think they're still figuring that out. I mean, because we have issues now with Flash. Ezra Miller. Did you hear about Ezra Miller?
Yeah, apparently he's not being the Flash anymore.
So the issue was, or is still, I don't know where it's at. Because for all we know, this happened months ago, and we're only finding out about it now. But the issue was he was told he could write the script for the new Flash movie because they can't find anybody, or he wanted to write a script for the new Flash film, and him and I forget the dude that wrote it with him, pretty respectable writer who's written significant stuff. They wrote it together. It was a bit dark. And
Okay. Cool.
no, well, it goes against the character he played in Justice League. So if it's the same actor playing it, it's pretty much the same character. So it goes against the character he played in Justice League. So Warner Brothers was like, well, good script, but no, because that's not your character. And so he's like, well, I'm not doing this. And so now they're out. Apparently, they're out Superman, they're out Batman, they're out Flash. God, who cares about Cyborg? But they still have Wonder Woman.
At this point, yeah.
They still have Wonder Woman.
All right. See, that's a whole different other episode to really dive in.
Sure.
But it's really weird because they're putting Cyborg in a Doom Patrol instead of Titans,
right,
on a television level.
Right.
So
different actor too, right? So
different actor, different like storyline. So you're confusing people. It's okay to do this in comic books because you've been doing this for years, and there's multiple different storylines, multiple different comic books to do it with. But when you have what I don't understand is that I don't think DC understands basic viewers. Right. Okay. You and I are
yeah, we're in the mix of hearing it every day, so we understand it.
Right. And also, like, we're essentially nerds, right? Like we know this, we essentially know source material. We've seen all the comic book, like we've read certain comic books, we saw almost all of the movies, we watched shows. So we know material and we know how this works. But if you try to get like my cousin who is not into the culture, and you tell him to watch Titans, then Doom Patrol or the Teen Titans cartoon show, and then you tell him to watch all these movies, he's gonna get freaking confused, and he goes, wait, why is this guy different than that guy?
Yeah.
Oh, it's because it's TV. Like that doesn't, you know.
What I think,
So
what I think DC needs to do, and maybe they'll do it at Comic-Con this year if they're there. I think what they need to do is go, hey, listen, we've kind of said this before in the past, but this is our definitive plan. We are gonna just make movies. That's it. They're not gonna relate to each other, and if they do, we'll let you know when they do. But that's it. We're just gonna make movies, and I think that's what they should do. I do not think they need to make a universe of films. I don't think. Oh shit! Hold on. I do not think they need to be making a universe of movies, and there's no reason for them to.
See, I agree with you, right, on one aspect, but the problem is that this is not the Dark Knight era where they could just put out anything.
So you're
right?
saying we're beyond a world where that's even not possible, I guess.
No, it's still possible, but again, it goes back to average people aren't, informed enough to go, like.
So they're expecting that because this company does it, that this company is also doing it.
Yeah.
I see what you're saying. But that's why I think they should make this giant announcement, make it have it shared all over the world through Instagram and Twitter or whatever it may be. Have it on the fucking every news channel. Pay the TV spots on every news channel. Be like, this is what we're doing, because I think DC has always done a good job with a solo film that's not connected to anything. I've always think they've gone great with that. And look at this. This Shazam movie shows, and we're gonna get back into Shazam right now. This Shazam movie shows that it could be on its own and have no connection into anything else, but we could still have, like, they teased Batman, they teased Superman, they teased Aquaman by mentioning them, but they never showed them except for that one little cheeky joke at the end. They never showed them at all, but they have and they did a great job, actually. And I don't know if you picked up on this. Mm-hmm. This is the only. Sorry, Aquaman did it too, but fuck Aquaman. Aquaman did it too, I think. This is a good example of, I guess, universe building or mentioning, I guess you can call it universe mentioning, without having to have so much nonsense involved. What I mean, just like in Batman versus Superman and in Wonder Woman, the whole computer stuff of, like, gotta go into the file. Oh, he has the Flash file. Who's Flash? We're about to find out. Click.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Flash? Cool. All right, so who's this next guy? He talks to fish? Wow, cool. Like, this movie didn't do that. It lets you know, yeah, Superman's out there. He's doing something. Batman's out there, I guess. Yeah. He's doing something. They didn't need to be, like, throw universe building in your face, even though there's probably a little bit of it in here, but it's like, it's not thrown in your face. And I like that.
Yeah, I like that too. It was more like subtle building.
Very
like,
subtle.
It works, like I like it when if you're trying to build a universe and you fucked it up and you're trying to revamp it, do it subtly.
This is a good way
don't throw it in. Don't throw it in people's face, because people don't like being told what to do.
Right, and also like you just said, they're in this process of a slow rebuild. Which is kind of sad because it just started, but not just started. I guess 2013, but you're at this slow rebuilding phase of, like, we're gonna kind of have to recast people. So this is probably a good time to be like, yeah, there's a Batman out there, but we're not going to show you a picture of him, and so on and so forth. If they go, no joke, if at Comic-Con they go, hey, we're moving forward, we're going to be making all those movies that we told you we're making that are currently in production. These are the ones that are going to be connected to this, and it's going to be called such and such universe or whatever.
Yeah.
These movies are going to be do what Star Wars is doing, in a sense.
Yeah.
But even though all those Star Wars movies are connected, but do it even more so to the point where it's literally an anthology. Do an actual anthology series and call it DC Anthology. I don't care. Yeah. Give it a stupid name like that.
I would like that more. You know why? Because then it gives people like an outlook, something that okay, so I can just branch these things together.
Right.
You know, take for example the Joker movie.
Oh, that's going to confuse everybody.
It already has, right?
Has it? I haven't seen that.
Trust me. Okay, again, we're supposed to be talking about Shazam, but this
coincides
with everything.
Sorry.
But like I was talking to a bunch of like casual moviegoers.
Yeah, make this quick because I want to go back to Shazam.
Yeah. But when the Joker movie the trailer came out, they were like, "What is this? Like, why would they make another Joker movie after Heath Ledger's performance?" I'm like, "Excuse me? Like, do you not know how much money that name can break?" Like, what?
Yeah. And wow, like, great performance, but what does that mean? We have to stop all Joker talk after?
Yeah, exactly.
That's nuts. That's nuts. Anyway, Shazam. Okay, so what did you think? I like this.
I have one problem with the movie, but that's
talk.
No, this is towards the end. It's a small complaint, but are you sure? Okay, fine.
Yeah, we're us. We talk about the movies.
So when this movie was first coming out, right, there was a lot of talks, a lot of skepticism, and then they brought in one specific man and his name, and he was supposed to be in this movie. They brought in Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson, and they were hyping him up.
I think he hyped himself up more than they did him.
Well, I mean, you bring in somebody of that caliber, right? And obviously, I think he was shooting a bunch of different movies, like a bunch of like his action flicks, right, at the time. So I don't think he was able to film in this movie. But again, he was hyping himself up. A lot of fans were hyping him up, and a lot of things were, set in motion. A lot of people, a lot of talk saying he was involved in the project.
Yeah.
A lot of talk said he was going to be in the project, and then when you go and watch it, he's not there.
Right.
The character he's supposed to be playing, Black Adam, was mentioned in the beginning of the movie, but he's not mentioned at all. And I picked up one thing.
Well, he wasn't mentioned by name, but you're right. Go on. What did you pick up?
He wasn't mentioned by name, but he was mentioned. Like he was
like, if you know what the guy's talking about, you get what he's saying. But wait, what did you pick up?
So at the end of the movie, right, most people just don't care about the credits, right? Like I usually don't but I was just watching it, finishing my fries and whatever, and I saw one name under the executive producer part.
Right.
And that name is Dwayne Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
Now, maybe he's supposed to have a solo movie. I don't know.
Well,
I saw some.
I'm reading an article right here.
Yeah.
That says Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson's Shazam spinoff, Black Adam, to enter production next year. So, and this was 10 hours ago, at the time of recording here. So,
Okay. See, there it is.
I don't know how accurate this article is. I haven't read it, but that's what it says. It's from the It's from the new Fox News. The new non-Disney, non-Fox owned Fox. That's what it says here. I don't know where they're getting. I think there's no.
But I low-key wanted to see a little Black Adam. I wanted to see a little Dwayne. I want to see some rock bottoms being thrown.
The Rock posted on Instagram about it. That's what it was.
Okay.
That's what it was. Right. I think he's on the set of Jumanji 2.
Yeah, I mean, he was filming Hobbs Fast and the Furious spin-off. He was shooting, a bunch of different movies.
Yeah, I mean, Shazam's been in limbo for a while now. Like, this movie has been talked about for a long time. Like, 2015, I think. 2014 they were talking about. About this movie, and I think that's when The Rock was mentioned to be So there's a whole big mess with that, but it seems like they're moving forward. Um, so anyway, this movie. So Zachary Levi, great in this movie. Mark Strong, the villain he played the villain. He played Doctor, whatever.
Super good.
Awesome.
Phenomenal. Like honestly, like
Asher Angel played Billy Batson.
He was great too.
But probably my favorite guy is Freddie Freeman, the kid. Jack Dylan Grazer is the actor's name. Freddie Freeman, the crippled kid. Sorry for saying crippled. Oops. What would you say? What do people say? I forget.
Special needs, disabled.
I don't think he was special. Yeah, I guess disabled, right? Or
disabled.
What do they call it? Sometimes willingly able. No, I'm just kidding.
Is that actual term?
No, not willingly. No, that's fucked up.
Oh.
What's the one? No, I've heard differently abled is a phrase that's thrown around a lot, and I forget. There's another one that I don't know. But anyway, this kid had crutches and a cane. A cane? No, it's not a crutch. Is it a crutch? The ones that grab you on the arm.
It was crutch. Yeah.
I like those better than the underpit ones. Those are look so much more comfortable than if you were to get underpit ones. Anyway, I'm a douchebag, I guess. That kid, great acting in this movie. Oh my god.
Yeah,
he's hilarious. That kid's hilarious. I think I want to see that kid in more stuff, and I'm surprised I haven't. I think he's been in a couple other things, but I've never seen him. But anyway, he was pretty good in this. Do you know anything about the villain, like in the comic books? I don't know anything about that.
To be honest, I think he's like one of his major villains, but I'm not sure, honestly. I think that storyline blew past me a little bit.
His name is Dr. Savannah. Were you confused as I was in the beginning of the film when they show this little boy and his dad and his brother, and you're just like, "Whoa, wait, that's not."
Oh, that's not Billy.
That's not Billy. What the hell?
Originally, yeah, but as you go on to watch it, you kind of like
obviously
figure it out.
Yeah, obviously.
Yeah,
but
it was a little jarring.
Yeah.
Because like that car ride is super CGI'd out the butthole, so like it was like really weird to see just like CGI green, white, snow driving background and like it. You know what it felt like? I think they did a good job on it though. Thinking back a little bit of reflecting, because it was supposed to be shot in like 1970, right? Yeah, so it really did give me like this classy old vibe a little bit, like processing it a little bit, like a little bit, like it felt like an old school like drama / sitcom type of thing, only colorized, that you would watch on your RCV TV.
Wow.
So
wow.
Yeah.
You mean RCA?
Yeah, RCA. Yeah, RCA TV.
So the villain is from 1939.
Oh, damn.
He was published by Fawcett Comics from 1939 to 53, and then DC Comics from 72 to today.
Bottom out. Yeah.
First appearance was Wiz Comics #2, so he's like his OG villain. Cover date February 1939. Wow, that's crazy. Created by Bill Parker and C.C. Beck. This is nuts. So, that's cool. So it's like they didn't pick a villain from today. I respect that. They didn't do that. But
it's good. It's good that the filmmakers were really respecting the mythos.
I mean, but it's kind of clear that he was more of a wacky mad scientist rather than a guy that's like summoning demons. I don't think he's probably become that, but I don't think I don't think that's what he started doing.
Oh yeah, he definitely was just like, I need to know who Shazam is. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
Make some potions and throw it at you.
That's basically what it looks like here. But in the movie, he's this like demon summoner, which was awesome because it fed into the story. I don't mind them changing that, and maybe, who knows? I don't read the modern comics of Shazam, so or ever, so maybe he is that type of guy now. Maybe he does summon the seven sins. Is that something that is played in Shazam before? The idea of that? You have no idea.
The Seven Deadly Sins.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. It's the wizard's main villain, like
Interesting.
the reasoning for like the council,
Right.
the
Right.
reasoning because like in the New 52, they kind of did something with like these three people. Most people won't know who they are, but I'm not just getting into it. But there's something involving these three people and the wizard counseling judging them and the reason why the seven deadly sins are out and about and how they have to stop them and whatnot. So yeah, it does play a part.
Interesting. I was just reading something. Interesting. So, according to this article, Mark Strong, the guy who plays Dr. Savannah, will return for Shazam 2.
Oh, nice. So we already have a confirmed Shazam 2.
Right. Well, yeah, they've mentioned that the moment the movie came out, it looks like. Yeah, interesting. Does it mean he's the villain? Probably not. Probably. Who knows? Anyway, so I don't know if you noticed, but you remember, okay, so like they go down, they're like, oh, this is our lair now, after the kids become Shazams. That's why we just call them the Shazams.
Okay.
Notice there's an empty, there's if you count all the people, there's an empty chair. They never sit down in the chair. So my thought is that maybe that's Black Adam's chair. Maybe he. Again, I don't know the story of Black Adam, but I could just assume that and maybe they're telling in the movie is that he joins them somehow, and he gets the powers, and he's nice in the beginning, and then he's like, I don't agree how this is going down, and then he becomes a douchebag. So again, I don't know.
Yeah, kind of.
Yeah, you think that would make sense?
I mean, that's sort of what happens.
Really?
Sort of. Yeah. It's I don't know which storyline they're gonna go with, but the basic one that I remember is essentially the wizard wanted to choose another champion. Like he was like, all right, I need another mentor. This is how we pass on our powers. Blah 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 blah. So he finds Black Adam. He's like a king somewhere in some planet, some shit.
Oh, he's not even from here.
No, I don't think. No, yeah,
wow.
I don't think so. And he's like, hey. I think you're worthy enough. And he was like, all right, cool. Gives him the power, and then he kind of just goes, he kind of like, oh, I'm the champion, I'm the best, blah, blah, blah. And then, that stereotypical, like, I think you're going a little too big, you need to tone it down, you need to show restraint. He goes, no! And then kind of like retaliates and kills everybody.
So, do you remember, I remember this, do you remember when this movie was being made and everyone lost their shit when
about
what? No, see you might get it before I say it.
About why are they making this movie?
No. When they lost their shit cuz they were like, "Oh my god, his costume looks so stupid." It looks fake. Because of the
when they were like, Zachary Levi isn't buff enough, doesn't seem like
his muscles are totally fake. That's gonna look stupid. There's no way they're gonna be able to fix that in the movie. It's like, guys, it's gonna be perfectly fine because it's something that's called CGI. They're gonna fix it if they need to, or Zach will just get bigger naturally. Either one, but they're gonna fix it. And while watching this movie, I didn't go, oh wow, that looks fake. The whole time I'm going, oh wow, Zach looks like he worked out. It's probably a bit of both, and I'm sure it's more computer than real. But it doesn't go. You don't do the mustache thing. You don't go, oh whoa, that looks.
Oh yeah.
That looks like they did a lot of work there. They didn't know what they were doing. It's believable. You're like, all right, there's that. He's a fucking god, apparently, essentially. A wizardly god thing. He looks big. Woohoo! It doesn't look like the pads that were on the street shots. That's why I hate when people talk about like they see a movie being shot and they take a picture, and then on online everybody's like, oh my god, why does it look like that? It's because it hasn't been through the computer yet. You know, like they do, you know how much editing and color grading and keying and all this technical shit that they do to these movies.
Hmm.
That, like you were saying, talking about average film fans or film goers,
Yeah.
they're the ones that get mad and they don't even know what's. I mean, even just people that don't even know anything about film, they just get mad. It's really funny.
Yeah, I mean, you just have to take these guys the complaints with a grain of salt. Like, it's like with regular like reviews, you know. Well, like me and Pete and Mike will talk about a movie and we'll express how we feel about it. But ultimately, it's your job to go down and find out for yourself, right? You know, you shouldn't really take things at face value until you see it, you know, at its final product, right?
Right.
Like, you know, I don't. A lot of times people just don't do that. They just like shun it, you know, like, oh, that looks disgusting. And then when they go watch it, nah, it wasn't bad. It wasn't bad. And it's like, and then you complain about it, like, hey, didn't you say that? Nah, I never said that.
Right.
Got no proof.
Not realizing, you know, it's just it's a set photo. Chill out. Like, yeah. Anyway, yeah. I don't know. I think I told you this when the movie ended of Shazam. I think that's the most fun I've had at a comic book movie in a long time, and I still mean that. It's been a few days since we've seen it. I mean, I'm not saying it's the most fun I've had. I don't know if I could, you know, I don't know if I can calculate that, but it's up there. Like, you know, I guess if you want me to name movies that I've also had a ton of fun with, would be Guardians of the Galaxy and Deadpool. Like I physically remember. I could actually remember. I don't know if you could physically remember something. I don't know what I just said. I actually remember sitting down watching Guardians and Deadpool, and in moments actually knee slapping myself, and going, you know, just hysterically laughing. And that's what I did in this movie. I did not expect to do that. I'm gonna be honest with you. I did not expect to do that. And so it is gonna be a movie I'm gonna watch over and over again, I think.
Yeah, it's definitely. I'm agree with Pete on this one. It's like it's super fun. Like it's super like you don't expect this from a DC film. Like as of lately, you know, like so when you go in there and you expect it to be dark, a little gritty, you know, a little bit, and you come out like laughing and chuckling, and you get to experience that's like that's great. In my opinion, that's awesome, you know.
And to be honest, it's one of those movies where you don't need to do your homework to go see it. It's not like Endgame, you know. It's not like you're gonna be like, all right, I gotta watch 22 movies before I can really sit down and watch this movie to really understand everything that's going on. I don't need to go. Who's this character? Do I need to know his back? Like, you don't. Yeah. You could go in after work and just go like, you know, I feel like going to the movies tonight. I'm gonna check out Shazam. It's that movie. And I love that. I respect that about it because it's meant to be a fun summer film. I wonder, being that I could look this up, I'm curious of how much it made.
I like I said before, I'm glad that it's a good origin movie. Like I have my personal gripes with Marvel's Captain Marvel, but you know, at the end of the day, I thought that movie was decent. Do I think this movie is better from a movie standpoint? Yeah. And it's fun. Like it just like you could just go in there, just not knowing anything about the character, and come out knowing like, oh, okay, so that's how he works.
Right.
You know, it's hard to say that with like a lot of the current like solo origin movies now. It's more like, all right, this is the character, on to the next one. You know, this one I feel like it has a lasting effect on me, and hopefully I think DC can keep up with this type of quality of content.
Yeah, I agree. So let's see, Shazam over the weekend has made $56 million. I don't know what they were projecting, but $56 million is what they made domestically.
Okay.
Worldwide, it made 102, so it's currently sitting at about 160, $160 million. It is currently the number one movie in theaters, but that's to be expected. Yeah, so let's see. It was in 4,217 theaters. So, yeah, so this movie has made a pretty good amount of money. Again, I don't know what they were projecting. I think they were projecting a bit higher than that. But that is fine. Like, that's good. I think that's good money. The budget, I mean, for this film is somewhere in the $100 million. That's it. That's all.
Wow.
That's all. Like it.
I mean, that's a lot, but for a movie of this caliber, not
Yeah,
much.
I don't think that's that much, to be honest. Like, let's see, a similar film. I think Ant-Man. Let's look at Ant-Man's budget. Ant-Man's budget was $130 million. So, same type of, like, what I mean by is, like, same type of, like, well, I'm not comparing it. Box Office Mojo is. They're comparing those two films. But yeah, same type of budget, I guess, for those movies. Think about, like, Deadpool had a budget of like $50 million.
Yeah.
But that's a whole different animal. But so you see studios, you can make comic book movies for 100 or less. No reason.
Just don't add Robbie Downey Jr. to the movie, and your costs are astronomically lower.
Yeah, I guess that's a good point. That's probably why that's. Oh God, who knows what Endgame's budget was.
We'll find out.
Yeah, but anyway, I don't know what else to talk about this movie. I think it was a really fun movie. We could go into the nitty gritty, but I don't think we could remember everything. Unless you have something that you could think about, but
no, I think. I mean, we could get into the nitty gritty of stuff.
There's little moments of like it's really sad. That moment I felt for him when his mom didn't even remember the compass.
Oh yeah.
And I was like, oh my God. Okay, fine. You didn't want your kid. I'm not saying that's a good thing, but like that's one thing. But to not remember that token to him that meant the world. Literally, he's been using that little piece in a sense, to find his way back home. And you didn't even remember that you won that for him.
Yeah.
That fucked me over. And then it I guess a full circle when he gives that little girl the tiger, which you and I joked that man wasn't her dad.
oh yeah. me and Peter had very very crude jokes about that scene.
But I think your favorite. You didn't mention your favorite character of the film.
Wait. Oh, yeah.
Santa Claus.
Santa Claus in this movie. Whoever plays him, whoever thought of using Santa Claus for this movie is a goddamn genius. Okay, Santa Claus in this film is a comedic relief character who just shows up. He's kind of just trying to do his job, and then shit happens. And like I can relate to that 100%. Like there's a scene where Santa's like just there in like some carnival area in Philly. I think it's a real location. I'm not sure, but it's like some boardwalk carnival place. And then you see the bad guys show up all powered up, like kind of just floating in the sky. And I go to Peter, why the hell are all these people just staring at this? Like you live in a world where like Superman and Batman and the Flash and stuff that happened in Gotham City, in Metropolis. And you're just standing there, and then you just see, and then if I waited like 5 seconds, 5 to 10 seconds, all you see is Santa Claus come like, oh no, not again, run, and he just makes everyone run away. It was great.
So the actor is Brian Callback. He is a gentleman that is mainly a character actor. He's a older gentleman. Does not have his birth date on here, but yeah, he's been in very small roles throughout his entire career. So shout out to this man, because this is his shining achievement.
That was amazing. I like the icing on the cake, because like at the end, because you have like if you guys remember I think the first Avengers, Stan Lee is in an interview. At the end of the movie, I think that was his cameo, and he's like talking, and he's like, "Oh, the Avengers, they're all great, blah 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 blah." This movie has something similar with Santa Claus, but it's not as PG as Stan Lee. He was more like cursing his mind out, and they were bleeping it, and they kind of do like the comedy, like, "Oh, cut, no, we can't have this man slurring on live television, like, no." And oh man, that's great. Shout out to you, man.
So this man's on Twitter, and he's kind of active, and he's great on Twitter. I'll send you his Twitter. He's just embracing the role. Like, he's just embracing the fact that like he's not in a Santa outfit in here, but he's embracing that he's in SHAZAM, and what a great man. I want him on this podcast. I don't know if he's from Canada, but he's in a picture. He was in Vancouver, man, where you're from. So yeah, he's from Toronto, Ontario. So he's from the East Coast of Canada. But man, that guy was great.
Fantastic. Shout out to you, man. Like that's oh man.
So yeah, I guess we can call it an episode here because I think we're holding out for the big one that's coming out in 2 weeks, the big Endgame movie. So we're going to have a giant episode for that one, I think. I think that one's going to go unlimited. I think we're just going to talk until we die.
Peter wants to shoot for at least a 24-hour episode, a total of 24 hours. I don't know if I'll be able to talk for 24 hours straight, or you'll be able to listen for 24 hours straight, but that was what he's aiming for. He emailed me and Mike about it on the company email.
Not true.
It's very weird. With like a bunch of plot points and time travel like lingo and equations he wanted us to solve. I didn't know anything about it, but hopefully Mike can answer them for us.
Mike could
here.
Decipher it somehow.
Yes, like he's been doing with the black boxes recently. But that's another episode. We'll talk about that later. Thank you.
That part of the story I'm not aware of. What's Mike touching black boxes for? Is that like an innuendo? Mike just
I don't know. You're gonna have to talk to him about it. I remember he mentioning me that once.
We're gonna do a 56-hour episode, and it's just us watching every single Marvel movie from start to finish. Oh
god, that's terrible. No, don't do that.
Yeah, that'll be killer. But yeah, this has been SHAZAM. SHAZAM. I can't say it like that. I gotta say it like a sassy black woman. Or something.
I forgot to mention one thing before we ask that. Classic Billy Batson saying Shazam and then the lightning bolt in the blue. Like that's like an iconic comic book cover, and they do it here.
Great, yeah.
So yeah, it's kind of like a reminiscence of the Dark Knight, of the Zack Miller. I know. Yeah.
This movie does a good job of keeping it nice and homage-like moments to the comic book. So I do respect that. I've been finding out, like, oh, that looks familiar. Stuff like, hit the microphone again. But you guys didn't hear the original hitting of the microphone because I edited that out. So anyway, website coming out. You guys know this. Today is April 8th. Website is in 2 Mondays from now, April 22nd. We get all the fun stuff on there. And if you don't know about the website, there's a episode about the website that I recorded a couple of weeks ago. Mm-hmm. So listen to that, and you could get the findings and understandings of why we even will have a website. But yeah, today's been a good episode. I've been Peter, and I've been with the good man from Vancouver, Antonio Connolly.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Wow,
that was no. I mean, it's true. Like it's true.
That was almost as bad as one of Mike's. Like, you remember how like sometimes we go, "Hey, Mike, we've been with Mike," and he's like, "Huh?" that was bad. Let's do that one more time. We do that again. Yeah. So I've been Peter, and I've been with Antonio. What's up? No, I mean, not wow. Even I messed it up. Oh man. Oh, we should just end this episode. God, I'm tired.
Yeah, just edit all that out. Just edit all.
No, I'm gonna keep it in. It's gonna stay in. All right. Peace out.